Hey guys, and welcome back to Trekyards Discussions. I'm Captain Foley.
And I'm Connor Coggins, and we're back looking at episode 5, Choose Your Pain, and a new interesting character has been introduced.
Lieutenant Ash Tyler. I was asking about him last episode. Haven't seen him yet. No, he's a member of the crew, and, well, question answered. There he is. He was in a Klingon prison, so...
What is the title of today's episode, Stuart? What are we looking at in this episode?
This one specifically is Ash Tyler, a Klingon spy.
Yes, one of our 2 theories about him, and this we'll talk about specifically. So yeah, his backstory, apparently he was a lieutenant of the USS Jaeger under Captain Stephen Maranville.
Which I found out the Jaeger was the Fornacelled ship that we've seen concept sketches for. So it is better looking than the Jaeger that we see in Deep Space Nine.
Yes. So, why do we think he's a Klingon spy? Now, like I said, there's 2 theories, so bear with us. The second one will release a little bit later on. What? But Stuart, he seemed like a nice guy. You know, had some serious hardships. We liked him. Why would he be a spy? Why are we jumping to a spy, Stuart? Why can't I just be a guy rather than a spy?
I don't know. He seems super nice. I really want to like the guy, but his introduction was extremely odd. It's almost like he wasn't in the cell initially, then he was in the cell, and he's not beat up. And they're like, oh, he said, oh, they give us time to heal up. They take us out and give us time to heal up so they can beat us up again. Sure, a lot of captors do that kind of thing. Just seemed very convenient and odd, in my opinion. And plus, he's been there for 7 months in a Klingon prison being tortured. That's impressive.
And let's double back a few steps here. So now some people are saying that the ship that captures Lorca, it's a D7, might not have been the prison ship. There's no reason to think it isn't, though. Because you can have a prison variant of D7. Why wouldn't you just have more cells? I mean, they say prison ship. It's just because they're in a prison cell block. You know, for them it's a prison ship. But
it could also be that the Klingon D7 captured them because it was across the border at the time, and then dropped them off on a prison ship. Maybe it's a different ship.
Yeah, but that's an extra step that wasn't in the script. So he was again. This is what they're telling us. He was captured at the original battle 6 months ago. Then all full-scale war ensues, where both sides have a lot of fighting, and they ignore the Sarcophagus ship. It's a whole different thing. And for 6 months, he is tortured. I guess, trying to get information out of him. He's played with. He's attacked. He's whatevered. Now, in this scene we do see a different crew member who gets no name and no rank, who gets picked by Harry Mudd to be given the pain of that session. Now, he's already beaten up, so he's already had some ordeals, but the Klingon who deals this out actually slams his head and kills him. So clearly, there is a point when there's the end of the journey, and since the way they deal out punishment or torture, it isn't specifically torture, it seems to be. And after 6 months, you'd assume you know everything that Tyler knows. It is beating up, and then at one point you just kill him to prove a point, and Mudd seems to choose the other guy. So if they've been cellmates the whole time, then Mudd has continuously had him getting beaten up. And while he could have been put in like a coma and then he's now healed up, being put into cell rotation, you're right. The fact that he's so well, even his uniform is relatively clean, and he's in good condition for 6 months of theoretical constant torture. They did say the last, that the female captain has taken a liking to him, but she's only been in the war for a month, and even if she was put on this ship a month ago, that's still 6 months of torture. And he might be the last one to survive, apart from the other guy of this battle. He might be the lucky one that survived. Well, lucky, surviving more torture, but it still doesn't explain the absolute immaculate condition up to this point. And I don't know about you, but he doesn't seem broken as an officer.
Not at all.
I mean, what was your take on once you learned 6 months and all that stuff, and also his relationship with the Klingon lady?
I thought that was extremely odd. Like I said, I didn't think it was the same lady from the last episode. I thought it was just another female captain. So I thought it was the whole time he was there. She kind of got a soft spot for him. And yeah, wouldn't let him get too beat up. She would be the one keeping him kind of fresh and,
Pretty.
Recuperation time in her quarters kind of deal. But it did seem very odd to me, absolutely. And the fact that he doesn't seem emotionally broken. He's not cringing in a corner, rocking back and forth.
Because the other guy seemed to be. He seemed like in a fetal state almost.
Yeah, and a lot of bruises, a lot of visible damage. So.
Well, you could though say that I'm sure there's different cells. This isn't the only cell on the ship, especially if it's a prison ship. I'm sure if Mudd is as good a condition, and he wasn't a willing Klingon spy, as you argued last time, then maybe this Ash Tyler was actually saying no, he needs the punishment. He was the one that was, handing off to someone else. But then he took the brunt. Well, he was going to take the brunt. Well, I guess he did take the beating when he said when they had their escape plan. He's like, no, I do want to take this beating, and they escape quite easily though. For a Klingon that's several times stronger than a man, they were to beat them up pretty effectively. And a guy just got punched in the face and 6 months of torture. I guess his muscles are still strong enough to beat up a Klingon. Again, plot contrivance, but it's a little bit easy for how they, got out.
Well, yeah, that goes to the 7 months again. 7 months on just scraps of food because you're not getting good meals by the looks of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he would though, because if she would bring him to her quarters and like dine with him and stuff, I'm sure.
So 6 months of malnutrition and 1 month of decent gach treatments.
Sure, gach is high in protein. It's good to beef you up. But yeah, he just didn't seem physically affected by that stay and not having a proper diet, and you'd think he'd be a lot weaker, a lot malnourished, obviously. It didn't come across that way. Of course, Mudd also doesn't come across that way. So, but we know Mudd has Stewart stealing him food. I can't believe it's called Stewart.
Yeah, I mean, if he was captured for a month, I'd buy it.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, okay, yeah, a couple of weeks before the lady arrived, and boom, or maybe she brought him as her personal trophy boy prisoner. That'd be kind of sadistic and cool. But if he is a plant, obviously we've got the question of is he who he says he is, first of all, or is he not who he says he is? And that's a secondary, larger plot point that we could talk about. But surely, though, if he is who he says he is, that'd be very easy to corroborate in the next episode. The Jaeger's records will be public knowledge, especially for someone of Lorca's ability. Have a picture of him, but I suppose you could genetically modify the face to look like whoever you want.
Well,
so far in the future.
Yeah, the Federation would have retinal scans, they'd have facial recognition, they'd have DNA samples, they'd have all that stuff, so they'd have to run all that.
But does Lorca just trust him, though?
It doesn't matter, I don't think. You need to check that stuff out.
If Lorca says, nah, bruv, he's with me.
That's just awful, Camp. That just makes Lorca look even worse.
Well, he did for Burnham. I mean, he said, nah, guys, she's the worst person in the Federation. Nah, she's a really science officer.
Or maybe Lorca's kind of figured out that he is a spy and it's going to keep him close.
Well,
sounds like something Lorca would do. Feed him misinformation.
Well, yeah, maybe he thought, why is this guy still in such good condition? Yeah.
Yeah, well, so the thing is it a Klingon altered to look human? And if so, he would have to be altered. If he was suffering from the augment virus, he would have to be altered again to look like this crew member. Because like you said, there will be records. There will be people that know this crew member that went to Starfleet that are going to run into him. So there'd have to be that surgery done. Or is it the human himself who's been mind controlled somehow?
What's the technology they used?
Brainwashed?
Mind sifter.
Yeah, exactly. And it's basically working for them under fear of whatever. Like he's emotional torture, and he's just been put through so much that now he's got the Stockholm syndrome, and he's sympathizes with his captors and maybe wants to work for them. Maybe he is in love with the lady Klingon. Because it's interesting what she says when he's leaving. I think.
Oh, I wrote it down. Did you really think you could leave me after all we've been through? And then he does beat her. Well, if you watch the scene, it's a very non-impactful fight. It's just like push against wall, and then he just punch her in the face. But a Klingon has ridges, has a bigger bonal structure. You know exactly that it won't hurt you so much, as much anyway. But still, Lorca was around the corner. I mean, he did leave and come back very, very quickly. He wouldn't know how long. But obviously, he couldn't be seen to be talking with her. So I guess beating her up and knocking her out. I mean, we've seen other times in Star Trek that they're faking it, and you still got to punch them in real to believe it. You know.
Yeah.
So I could still buy that, and do anything to leave me. After all we've been through, there is subtext there, and it could be played multiple ways. One thing I do want to note, though, at the end, after they beam in, and he's still weak from being strangled. I know he went weak for not the best reason. Anyway, he specifically says, Lorca says, dragging back into the water, there's no place I'd rather be. Now, could that literally mean because I've been in prison I want to kick some ass? Or because I literally want to be on this one secret research ship with the most important weapon in the Federation?
I'm no Klingon, place and we love war.
Yeah, this is my mission all along.
It's interesting.
Yeah. And also a side question: why introduce another main character who was also credited in the previous episodes? I just want to note he was actually in the title sequence of the previous episodes.
Yeah.
Why would you introduce a new character at this point? Mudd obviously is a recurring. This chap is a primary. Like, what will he add to the plot? And 5 episodes in is quite a few episodes in. If you've only got 13 or 16, that's a good third-ish of the show.
Well, again, if it goes back to him being a agent of some sort, working for the Klingons, it's a good way to destabilize a crew, is to send somebody new on board and him get to know everybody individually and start playing them against each other, so the crew's unstabilized from within, so it makes it easier to take them out from without. But yeah, as far as a main character goes, I just thought it was a really cool introduction. Like I said, I've been waiting for this character to show up. When I first watched it, I didn't really consider that he was a spy.
Neither did I.
But the more and more you think about it and actually look at what happened, it's all very, very odd.
And there is a lot of online speculation about this. More to which, for our next episode, we're going to look at him specifically being maybe a pre-shown Klingon. We wanted to cover just the vanilla idea that he might be a spy in which way. Is there a possibility that he could, in fact, because we mentioned in a previous episode that Lorca being kidnapped is not a coincidence. There is internal dealings. What if this character is if we do assume it's Section 31, at least Black Ops, what if he was a specialist officer that, they didn't know he was going to get captured, but was captured, and then the Admiral sent Lorca in unknowingly, because he's a very capable officer, knowing he could probably break out, to get him out of this situation. Because if you dangle Lorca in front of Klingons, you'll probably have him, and if you maybe accidentally send a signal to that specific ship or something, which is another bit of a stretch, but what if this was a plan to get this actor, this character out, because he knows secrets about the Klingons?
Oh, so you're saying like he was somebody special, just using this as an example, Section 31.
He was like a Sloan, yeah.
And they wanted him back. You'd think they do a clandestine Section 31 mission, but...
Well, is that not a clandestine Section 31 mission, sending in Lorca to pull him out without knowing? I mean, they do, don't they?
If Lorca's in on it, yes, but otherwise that's just sketchy. Because how do you know that that's going to play out the way you want it to play out?
I mean, do we know that he didn't know what was going on? I mean, again, why would he allow the shuttle to be out of warp at all? Why would he wait somewhere, travelling impulse or whatnot? And did he ever seem that unbelievably concerned about it?
Well, does Lorca ever seem concerned or emotional about anything? We don't know enough about his character to answer that question in all reality. But, yeah.
Closing, what's your verdict? Do you think he is a spy, or he is as he seems? Because it's worth pointing out, was that, apart from Burnham, was that the strongest introduction of a new character? Compared to Lorca, compared to Saru, compared to the Doctor, compared to the engineer. He got a lot of screen time in that episode, and some strong scenes and some good dialogue. Was that the strongest introduction of a character out of the primary cast?
I would say yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they really focused down on him. I mean, Saru didn't get that same good treatment. The engineers are getting good scenes, but they're all very focused on one specific thing. He's not, So it might have been stronger. So is that another sign that he's so important that he got a lot of focus?
Yeah, I guess. I see. I want him to not be a spy because I want to really like this guy, but at the same time, I really want him to be a spy because that would be really cool and kind of unheard of for a Star Trek series. It's that something that they haven't really tried before, especially for the main character, and it would also tie in a lot with a lot of the other stuff we've talked about, or it has been generated over the years, like the FASA aspect of planting spies in Federation territory
Yep.
to look exactly like humans, and also ones that look like Romulans to infiltrate Romulan territory.
Yep.
I would love that tie-in. That would make a lot of fans really happy because the FASA stuff's been made, severely overlooked over the years. And I don't know if they would do that, but I think it's really cool to think about that and have that be kind of a key part of a Star Trek series. I think that'd be neat. But I really want to like the guy because he seems like
a great
nice
introduction.
Yeah,
very strong. And it is interesting though that there was no next time on Star Trek Discovery, which means important stuff is going to go down. I mean, episode 6 of 14 or however many there is, we're almost at the halfway point. Some serious stuff's going to go down next episode. So I'm pretty intrigued, and I think he's going to play a pretty important part. And we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I think he probably is a spy. My closing.
I think it's very likely he is as well, but I'm just hoping that he's not. So there you have it. So if you want to help us out by making more of these, because we love talking about Star Trek, we love talking about Discovery, there's lots of little pieces per episode that we're going to focus on, either ship-wise, tech-wise, or just main plot points that deserve their own kind of ramble from us as opposed to being included in the review. If you want to help us out with that, you can do so by clicking the Patreon link in the description below, heading over there and giving us a monthly donation. Anything you can offer is greatly appreciated, even if it's $1 a month, helps us out immensely. Or please feel free to head over to Trekyards.com and hit the donate button if you want to give us a one-time donation as just a way to say thank you for all we do. That would also be greatly appreciated. And of course, there's a free way to help us out.
Yes, if you can't afford direct donations, then of course you can subscribe to this channel, you can like our videos, you can share our videos, you can share on Reddit, on forums, on things that get eyeballs to our videos, that explore these themes, that share them, that share our conversations, because people equal growth, growth equals more growth. I mean, it's exponential, so if you can share, that really helps our channel out, so please do, even if it's just your own local, your own personal Facebook, because, hey, we've all got Trekkies that we know.
Exactly. So I guess that wraps up this one, and until we get information from our undercover agent about more Discovery, we will be back with that at some point. But until then, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
And I am Commander Kongs.
See you later.
Bye, guys.